Howdy all and welcome back to my channel. I'm Liam. Another decent week for me, moving down the ranks back into the top 10k. So I dropped 2,000 spots with my score of 1748 to sit now at 8,500. Looks not so much better number than four figures, slightly easier in the mind. But 1748, pretty solid score this week. I knew a lot of teams were in trouble with this bye. I had 19, so I was wanting to have a solid round to move back into, not into contention, but closer to a more respectable rank. So I had 19 this week. It all started terribly for me. First 5 minutes of the Friday night game, Mitchy Duncan does his knee, out for 8 to 12 weeks, scored a solid 8. There goes my 19th man, there goes my premium player advantage. Oh well. So then everyone else, the scores were going to count for the week. Newcomb tried hard for his score not to count, but didn't start overly well. Yeah, and the little mini captain mistake at the end. It wasn't a mistake, but just 50-50 captain call at the end with Merritt and Mitchell cost me a few little points. But other than that, I was pretty happy with how my team went this week. Starting the back line, Whitfield made up for his last week average performance with a solid 119. It was just everywhere. GWS just racked up. If you had any GWS players, they had a field day against Carlton, especially that last 10 minutes of that game, where there was about six plus sixes in a row, all with my team in it. They had Whitfield, I think, got 2, Taranto got 2, and Kelly got a couple. Just chipping around in that back line. It was good to watch as that game closed. Not best for the footy standard, but good for a fantasy standard, which is all we care about here. But very happy with that. Tommy Stewart, 121, 10 intercept marks. It was just everywhere. A little bit of a pod in the back line, similar to Whitfield, not highly owned, and with a lot of defenders out this week, performed, certainly boosting my rank very nicely. Ridley, 87, not what I paid for him, but it's solid. Finally taking a few more kick-outs, which is a positive sign. If there's any, still hasn't scored over 100 since I brought him in for that 15 concussion. So waiting. Just annoying that I had a choice between him and Mills. I talk about this every week, but it's cost me so many points. So on to last defender. This was Markov. I didn't get to watch this game at all. I was out doing an exam, so I didn't get to study this Port Gold Coast game. But 73, it's solid, but I'll probably want to get rid of him soon. But unfortunately, I got Duncan to worry about this week. But with Laird in the midfield at the moment, certainly going to swing him back and trade Markov to a premium when possible. McRae, 105, started extremely slow, but did what McRae does, and another 13th ton in a row for the year. Still hasn't got under 100. 105 probably wasn't enough as a VC option, but he's very popular owned. But it's nice when he can get to 120 numbers, but you can't do that every week. Solid Taranto. I was talking about with Whitfield. He just loves the +6. In that last quarter, he racked up about, I think, 4 or 5. One of the most cheapest +6s. Just you just see him. He brings his player full, runs with his player, stops, his player keeps going, and then just turns around and then +6. He does that about 6 or 7 times a game. It's great to watch as a fantasy owner. Probably should have captained him in the end, but I don't know. Too scared with him. It's just a name that you wouldn't captain. See captaining your team at all. But 145, take that and run. Spoke about Duncan. Scored 8. I scored actually 12 in the first 5 minutes and lost a tackle on the bench. I missed the first couple of minutes, so maybe I don't know if that +4 was worth it. But wouldn't have counted anyway, as he was my 19th player. Mera, a bit disappointing with the 88. Had a choice of him or Mitchell. He got a bit of attention with Shill, which I thought Parrish would have got. But what can you do? I've nailed a lot of captains this year, I feel. So, other than the Duncan one the other time, the other week. But 88's not what you want from a premium midfielder. On the other hand, Bree and Tom Mitchell this week absolutely picked it up. Nearly back to his good old days. 134. Loves a tackle. Even he had 2 disposals in the first 3 quarters. Pretty much in the first quarter, but he had 4 tackles to go along with it. So he was still at the top of the leaderboard with fantasy scores after having 2 touches. That's what you call way as a pig. McCluggage made up for his poor couple of weeks. 118 against North in the wet as well. Played a very solid game. And as a pod, it's always nice to see a pod score 118 and knowing that not many other teams have him. Robertson, extremely slow start. He scored about 30 in the last quarter. To save his score to get to 57, which is all you can ask for from a rookie, really. He's nearly maxed in price. Might have to. He was planned to go this week, but might have to hold for a little bit longer. Newcomb got sucked, but I brought him in last week. He scored 75. You can't get 75 each week. It'd be nice to get another 20 odd, but unfortunately, this poor game might give his job security a little bit of worry. So that's the main concern of his score of 27, because a lot of people would have had him in their teams this week. So his score was a little not very influential in the final ranks. Flynn got a solid 60. Started all right, just gave away too many free kicks in the second half. And got his way to 60, but if he continues this role, I don't mind holding him for a little longer. Wait for Grundy to drop a little bit and then pick him up. Aaron Hall, another slow starter, but had a great third quarter, and I've taken 98 in those conditions for him. It was wet, hard to get a lot of +6s, but he just loves his +3s out of fullback, even though some of them are risky at times. You just take him. As a North supporter, it's good, nice watching your team, your fantasy team racking up scores when your team can't rack up wins. Kelly, a little concerned when he rolled his ankle early on in that game, but musted his way to 102. I'll take that. It was a game where he could have gone probably 140 if he didn't have that little ankle issue, but most people have him by now. This is not overly a pod, but handy when he scores a lot. Zeeble, 124. Amazing game. Reads the ball extremely well. Brisbane kept kicking it to him. They gave a little bit of, I think, more attention to Hall, so Zeeble freed up. It wasn't a tag on Hall as such, but made Hall a little bit more viable. And so Zeeble got a bit more of the ball. They shared the kick-outs like they usually do. But Zeeble he had a good all-round game. Spoils, unfortunately, they don't rack up for anything in the fantasy world. But I rated his game. He had a good game against Brisbane. Langford 85. Yeah, that's what he's pretty much priced at. Uh, Worried a little bit with this role, but I didn't really watch him previously before bringing him in. I just looked at his scores. Um, Played a lot of forward, but got to 85 at the end after a pretty slow start. There's probably not too much to worry about with the lack of forward options at this very moment. I think if you get someone averaging 85 to 95 in that F5-6 position, you take it. And Madden and Briggs, 55-62, you take that any day of the week from rookies. You just hope they can hold their spot and then make a bit of cash to help fund some upgrades in the future. So that was my team for this round. Solid score. Could have been better if Duncan didn't unfortunately do his knee. I'll have to look at what trades I have to do to offload him to another premium midfielder. But I'll give you some insights on that with my trade talk video on Tuesday and my preview on Thursday. So until then, have a good one.